Happy Sunday, everyone. You may wonder why I do these videos sometimes without my face, and it's because I don't feel like people need to be staring at my face when I'm bringing a message that should touch their heart. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just recording this, and that way you're focused on the words and not what I'm doing in the picture or video. But today I wanted to talk about love and all the different ways that love enters our life. And I'm really excited about it because a lot of people think that the only way you can find fulfillment is by having a romantic partner. But that, I have proven completely untrue for almost 20 years. There's so many different types of love in our life that go unnoticed day to day that I would like to bring some attention to that love. There's the love of beauty. There's the love of seeing something visually. Sometimes, like yesterday, I looked up into the beautiful blue sky, and I swear to God, it looked like God had hung those darn fluffy white clouds on a hook up in the sky. It was just so magnificent, just beautiful. And the contrast between the white and the blue just overwhelmed my senses. It was just beautiful. To me, that is love. I quit dating back in 2010, I guess it was. So I've been single and celibate since, and it's by choice. I felt like there were other versions of love that would bring more completion to my heart and soul at that time in my life. So I focused on that kind of love. The grandchildren started coming, and they were just, a blessing from above. I tell you, I thought I loved having my own children until my grandchildren came. When my grandchildren came, it was bliss. I have no other word for it, just bliss. I was in my glory when the grandchildren started coming. And the other part is when they came, I didn't have to be the mom, the authoritarian, or, teacher, so to speak, in respect to rules. I was able to just have fun and do fun things with them. So I always tease that, when it's time for me to pass over and I got all this stuff I've accumulated through the years, my kids aren't going to want any of it. But my grandchildren, they're going to be standing in line for which one they get, They love the rocks and stones and crystals, just like their Mimi. And they love all the woo-woo stuff. They love to romp and roll and play. At Christmas time, we do snowball fights, indoor snowball fights. And my daughter has extended that over to her family. They turn out the lights and they have a Nerf ball fight with the guns and stuff. They chase each other around in the dark and do teams and stuff. So it rubs over. I was telling somebody yesterday, day before yesterday, at Christmas time, my youngest daughter was the last one with me after all the children had grown. And she seemed to be getting bored with the whole Christmas thing. We do the Christmas morning, open the presents, eat, and be done. It's just like there was no meaning left in it. So what I decided to do is make it more fun for her and fun for me. And I always loved scavenger hunts when I was younger. So I did her Christmas as a scavenger hunt. So she got her first box and first gift, and inside that box was a message as well as her first little gift. And I think there was like about 10 gifts. So the 9 gifts leading up to the big gifts were just little things that she wanted or liked or whatever. But each box, each gift had a message that would lead her to the next box and the next message until she finally came to the final gift, which was her grand prize for Christmas, something she really wanted. But that became kind of a tradition after that. That started when she was about 16, I think. And she was with me all the way until she got married. Um, so that was really fun. But back to the love thing. Okay, so there's all kinds of loves. You can't get fixated on just the romantic love. There's the love of beauty. There's the love of children. There's the love of animals and pets. There's the love of friendships and bonds. There's the love of community. There's the love of just an overall world love for the people and humanity of Earth. Um, then there's the love for your creative side, your artwork or your music, or if you're in sports, or maybe it's work. Maybe you really love your work. So there's all kinds of avenues to love. Um, a lot of people think that you can't have a full life if you don't have a significant other. But, you know, that's God's timing as far as I'm concerned. I'm unusual, a little unique, and have a great capacity for love. So obviously, um, somebody who likes to hurt people or harm children, harm animals, or harm other people, or, take the easy way and use corruption and things like that, those types of people obviously do not fit into what God would call the person coming into my life. But there are other people out there for those kinds of people. They have similar personalities, and they will find their other person, is I guess my point. And I'm okay with that. I have a very full life with or without another person in it. I seriously do. I find things to keep me busy because I'm always got a project list 1,000,000 miles long. And I'm a clean freak, so I'm constantly organizing and cleaning something just because I feel like I can get more done in a cleared space. Now, when I'm in the the rush of things and I'm working on a project, it doesn't always look that clean and clear because I got things in piles so I can grab from them while I'm working on the project. When I was a loan officer, I would do that. And that's the other thing. A lot of people like to stick the chosen, or even other people who are just trying to rise above their current situation. They like to use their past and keep them in their past and hold them there like some sort of ransom or something. And it's ridiculous because, when you come to Earth, you're supposed to evolve. How Spirit has explained it to me is those things that I passed through in my younger years were to teach me, to help me, to mold me into a better person, into the person that God intended to use. God doesn't use perfect people. God uses people who are flawed. Um, but we learn from those, or we try to. If you don't learn from them, then obviously He can't use you in the same degree that He can use someone who has learned from their mistakes, or jumped up from those mistakes and made changes and elevated and really made it their life purpose to become a better person, to become something that God could use in a different time. So I have a little bit of a problem with people who want to hold you to the person that you were 20 years ago when in fact you've had 20 years to evolve. Somebody who knew me in high school does not know me as a full-grown woman in today's life. God, throughout my life, has put me in people's lives to bring a change. That's my purpose, and it always has been, even before I knew what it was. I kind of saw the patterns when I got to my latter years of junior high and high school. I could start seeing patterns by then. So I could see how my presence in someone's life either made it better or all of a sudden, it was what we call in my vocabulary now, a bunch of towers coming. And basically, God's saying is that that was their wake up call. I was their wake up call, even as a child, to see what was right and what was wrong and choose right. If you choose a different path, then that's on you. But if you choose to follow the higher path and follow God and learn and continue to develop, that's the thing with folks who believe that their way is the only way. It's because they read it and they believe it, and now I'll walk these 50 years of my life doing the same thing all the time, so that will make me safe and I'll be going to heaven when I die, and so forth. And that's not necessarily true. You never learned anything by walking that path. You never evolved. You stayed the same. You stayed consistent, but you never changed. You never evolved. You stayed the same. You didn't seek out more answers. You didn't seek out the greater answers. You did not seek out anything other than what you were told. So God holds those shepherds responsible as well as the receiver. You have to evolve. That's what we were created for, not just me. Mankind was created to evolve. So, that being said, do I say that the Bible is wrong? Absolutely not. The Bible has many things in it. I believe the interpretation of the Bible is hindered. And by that meaning that you took everything as a literal thing versus what God and Jesus were trying to teach you, that it is a consciousness, it's a way of life, it's an evolution, it's a aspiring vibration, it's an aspiring closeness to be one with the Creator, not to tip the Creator over and rise above Him. Absolutely not. The goal is to meet the Creator in the space that both of you can feel the love between you on an individual way versus a mass group way. You are loved by God personally. You are not loved by God because you're part of a group. You are loved by God because He sees your heart. When I look inside my heart, I did this several times over the last few weeks just to see. I like to monitor myself before I speak because I just don't like hypocrites. So I always check myself. And one of the things I wanted to see was, what does my heart look like? What does God see when He sees my heart? And I was cracking up because there's pink, there's these flecks of fuchsia. I see these deep violet flecks in my heart, and then all of a sudden this spray of gold like glitter pops out and emanates. And I was like, oh, that is so cool. It's like a little fireworks show in my heart. So when I tell you I can see a person's heart, I think people fear that I read their minds just when I meet them, and that's really not how it works. I read your vibration immediately when I meet you. You can say to my face that you are my friend and you like me, but I can feel from your heart that you don't, or if you don't, or if you have another motive involved. That's a God-given radar. But to just walk into a room, everybody be fearful that I'm reading all their minds, that's not how it works. Now, if I feel a ping somewhere, it may attract my attention, and then all of a sudden my focus is there, and yes, then I can see what is going on in the energy around that person in that group. And I'm not going to embarrass anyone, but I will know, and you need to know that. But the fear of me reading your mind when you talk to me, so that's why you're afraid to talk to me, is silly. I'm not going to just read people's minds. That's not free will. That's an invasion. But if a red flag goes up or I see something that catches my attention, I'm definitely going to investigate that energy, and that's where we'll leave that. I think that everyone should be able to utilize that gift. And if you raise your elevation, eventually everyone will be able to utilize that gift. And I think that's what the bad guys are afraid of. That everybody will see through their fakeness. Everyone will see through their lies and their intentions. And oh, that wouldn't be good for them. So they want to keep you blindfolded. They want to keep you in the dark. They want to keep you thinking that everybody but them are bad. Everybody but them are evil. And they're the occult. And, you know, here's the thing. I was raised in religion. And if religion would have opened their mind a little bit more and taught some of these old truths, we wouldn't be having a lot of the problems that we're having in today. But it was done that way for a purpose, and that's what you need to understand. They knew about this. They didn't want anybody else to know about it. It was for their secret circles, so they could practice things that we didn't know about. But now we all know about it. So how did that work out? I didn't know about my gifts or didn't understand my gifts or was afraid of my gifts as a young person, as a child, because the religion taught us it was bad. And that is wrong. Those gifts come from God, and they were given by God for a purpose to help mankind at such a time as this. So wake up. Love isn't love until you give it away. Love isn't love until you can actually say, I love you, and not expect anything in return. Nothing. It's not conditional that way. But some people like to think unconditional love means they can do whatever they want and I'm supposed to still love you. No. That's not what that means. That's not what that means. Unconditional love means that even if you do that stupid stuff to me, that baneful, horrific intention towards me, that I can walk away and love you from the distance and hope that you will change someday and hope that God will find your heart and be the example for you to follow so that your life doesn't end in a bad way. That's my purpose, is to show you, be the example of what true unconditional love is, so that you may be able to turn your life around and learn and feel that unconditional love before you have your transitional date in time. I am here to show people how love can change the world. But not their kind of love, not the envious love, not the conditional love, not the possessive love, the I want to squash you and take your love and or hide you away so no one else can have that love. No. Love isn't love until you give it away.